Hi, I'm Andrew Spieler.
And I'm Mary-Hope Rennie.
And you're watching or listening to Behind the Sign, Real Stories from Real Estate. Welcome to episode 2. Our first episode is really a focus on origins, right?
Right.
Kind of like, why are we doing a podcast? An introduction, a little bit to who we are.
Yep.
And ultimately what we want out of this podcast. So that's specifically for the viewers, the listeners. We want them to engage. We want them to let us know what they would like to hear about, what topics of interest would be, pertinent to them as they're swirling the waters in real estate in whichever direction, whether they're looking to buy, sell, become an agent, maybe not be an agent anymore, whatever it might be. But I think today we wanted to focus a little bit on who each of us are, how we are on opposite ends of the spectrum for good reason.
Yeah.
And where we came from, what drew us to real estate, what's kept us in it, and where there might have been overlap between what we did prior to coming into real estate and where we are now. Let's start with you, Mary-Hope.
Okay.
When did you get licensed? When did you start into this?
So if we want to be exact, it was October 2009
that
I got licensed.
Wow.
So hit
almost
15 years, right?
Yeah.
15-year anniversary this year.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
So that was 15 years ago, and I was actually not really looking for a full-time job. I was a stay-at-home mom. Mm-hmm. I had been, I think my oldest was maybe 11. 10, 11, and I wanted to do something outside the home.
Yeah.
I had been a stay-at-home mom for 11 years, so I wanted to use my brain again.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Not that you don't, but, and that's kind of how I came in it, interestingly enough, not with huge expectations. Mm-hmm. And I remember speaking to Mark, who was our team leader then, and saying, I just want to do a few deals a year. Mm-hmm. And he said, great, that's what you want. We'll support you in that. Mm-hmm. Which actually stuck with me and was important for me. Because at that time, my family was the most important.
Yeah.
It was very important for me at that time, personally, to be with my children. Mm-hmm. Yet, I wanted a place to support me in whatever I wanted to do. So that was 2009. And that first year, I should really go back. I don't know how many deals I did. I do know that in 2009, the average sales price was about $210,000.
Wow.
That's not what it is right now.
Yeah.
It's over double. Mm-hmm. And I remember, I can say, I think I made $30,000.
Wow.
So think of that. That's half. So I don't know how many deals I did. I probably did 6 or 7. And I was like, oh, I can make money at this. Mm-hmm. It was supposed to be just kind of the side gig. A lot of people get into it, want to kind of test it out. This will be fun. I like houses. I said all those things. Yep. I like seeing houses. Right. I like looking at houses. I always look at all the websites. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, the reality of what this could do for my family was a big deal. Yeah. And so I stayed home with my kids and did this and changed my family's life pretty much with this. So that's kind of the beginnings.
To go back a little bit, when you were initially having that thought of, maybe real estate.
Yeah.
What were some of the things that you did to sort of feed that question before kind of going out and actually, talking to brokerages or people about it? What sort of kept you interested in it?
Good question. I did have a good friend at that time that was in real estate, so I did meet with her, just get a feel of what it looked like. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, at that point, my priority, I wanted to make sure that it could fit in with what my life was right then. I wish I could have said I had this grand plan, that I knew exactly what I wanted. I wish I could say I analyzed everything and looked at every brokerage and all that. No, I just decided, you know what? it's, to be honest, it's not too expensive to get a license in New Hampshire, for better, for worse. So I said, there's not huge risk. Let me try this. And that was probably as far as it went, to be honest. Wish I could tell you a big plan, but that's about what I did. And I just found a real estate school that was all in person at that time that worked with my schedule. So I did nights and weekends, and I did the classes, 10 classes in 2 weeks.
Did you meet with any other brokerage or anything? Or like, how did you come to KW? Was it through that friend who was in real estate?
No, it was, you know what, I'm not fully remembering, but someone said, Keller Williams, and I said, Keller who? This is 2009. This brokerage opened in 2004. So this was a brand new brokerage. Yeah. So someone suggested that I meet with Mark, and the way they did things aligned, and it looked like it would be a really good fit, and I just kind of went with it.
It's great.
It worked.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful that that's what it was given to me. Now I look back and see all the benefits of that. Not everybody has that benefit, but mine is not that exciting, but that's how I did it.
So before you were home with the kids,
Yep.
Did you work in any other industry prior to real estate?
I did some clerical work. I was at college. I got married really young and had my children. I did a lot of, while at home with my kids, I taught music. I taught piano. I taught piano.
Wow.
I taught music classes. I homeschooled my kids for a while, so that really involved a lot of that, and I taught music classes for that. What other jobs did I do? I was always doing, I did all those wonderful at-home sales jobs that we all know about. Mm-hmm. And and you know what? That is a good point. So I did those sales jobs, and I never liked it. And I thought I was a good salesperson, and I had a hard time selling a product. And I know this is going on a tangent, but what I realized, and I was like, well, then why am I so good at real estate? Or, why does it come easily? And it was selling myself, not a product, trying to convince someone to buy something that they didn't need.
You're right.
When someone comes to you as a buyer or a seller, they have a need already. They're going to buy a house. I'm not selling them on a house. I'm not selling them to buy this particular house from me. I'm selling them, what can I provide? What can I do? How can I serve you? That's a whole different sales pitch. And I don't even like to call it a sales pitch. What am I providing you, as opposed to what product I'm selling you that you may or may not need?
Right.
So that's what that's where I found, like, oh, I can do this all day, and it's not work. Selling a product to you that I know that you really shouldn't buy, or that you don't need, or
that you don't believe in as the person selling it, right? Like, I mean, if you're going to sell something, you need to believe in the product itself, the quality of the service, whatever it is. And if you're selling yourself, if you believe in yourself,
or you know that you're going to work hard for that person, it's a lot easier to sell that.
Yep.
So,
yeah, that's great. Yeah, I mean, I've often had the conversation with newer agents who are coming into the studio saying, in the little branding questionnaire I give them, I say, what do you do? What's your job? And a lot of them say, oh, I sell houses. And I say, do you really sell houses? And they go, huh? And I say, you sell yourself on how you're going to help someone sell or buy a home.
Yeah.
It's a
your
very
value.
different,
your value.
Right. Your personal approach to this business, this service.
Yeah.
And what makes everybody unique is that no two people are going to approach it from the same perspective, right? Which I think can kind of be a bit of a light dawning on Marblehead kind of moment for a lot of people when they step into this, because you're right. I think the initial draw is, ooh, I'm going to sell homes, and it's going to be all about the property. And then you get into it and you realize it's really all about the people.
Absolutely. And I would say also that's the career of real estate is also so unique in that. And I think so many agents come into real estate, I'm going to go sell homes, and then they see the opportunities in real estate. Because the way I see it, homes is the basis. We all live in homes. There's so many avenues of real estate and providing and wealth building and ways to even help other agents through it. I ended up eventually building a team of my own, which was for myself, but I also had the opportunity to help other agents grow their businesses and also take care of my clients better. So there's so many avenues that I think new agents just see opening a door.
Yep.
Or putting a for sale sign, which those are amazing parts of our job, and we couldn't have our job without it. I think that's just the surface level, and it's how you treat the people. Mm-hmm. And where do you want this opportunity? That's what I see in real estate. It's an opportunity for other options, and it's your own business, so you get to direct it in whatever.
Right.
Which I think you observed.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, we'll talk about yours, but I think that's the beauty of real estate, that it doesn't have to be one set. I'm an agent, a buyer's agent, a seller's agent,
right.
Or I open doors, I close doors, I close deals. But where do my strengths and weaknesses align with where I want to go? And and I think I discovered that kind of failing forward mm-hmm. and figuring this out, and also kind of being surprised by what this career could offer me. I really had no clue.
So when you started, talk a little bit about what the impact, good, bad, or otherwise, mm-hmm. starting in this field kind of had on, we'll say, the home life, right? Mm-hmm. You know, juggling between work and family, and you are your own business, you are your own boss, right? When you have that kind of autonomy where you are your own boss mm-hmm. and you can make up the schedule in your day, that can be a bit of a blessing, a bit of a curse.
Absolutely.
Right? Because
and I did it all wrong.
You're only accountable to yourself. So you did it wrong. So what did you do wrong?
I did all the wrong and all the right, and I figured it out. Like I said, I failed forward. To be honest, I think having my kids as a buffer actually was really good for my career, because I could only do so much in a limited amount of time. The beauty of having your own business is your time is your own. The curse of our business is your time is your own, and you can squander it really easily. So I am not an organized person by trade. A lot of agents aren't.
Yeah, shocker.
That entrepreneur spirit was deep within me. But I was able to, first of all, when you start, you don't have 6 listings, 6 buyers, all vying for your attention right now. It's slow, and I took it very naturally, because I thought I would do a couple deals a year. So it came very naturally. I started talking about real estate, and all of a sudden, people wanted to work with me. You have to remember, 2009. If you look at when that was, the crash had just happened. Mm. So that meant houses weren't selling. That meant there were a lot of homes for closure and short sales. And I didn't put a lot of pressure on myself to have to go do deals and make money, which once again is a blessing and a curse. But then I got my first listing from one of my dear friends. They didn't trusted me, and all of a sudden I sold it in 2 weeks.
Wow.
That sounds really long right now in this
right,
market.
Sure.
If something sells in 2 weeks, we said, what was wrong with the house? Or you did not price it.
Right.
We priced it. We got an offer within 2 weeks, and the appraisal didn't go through even for that. I know the exact. Actually, I sold it for $215,000. I think I listed for $215, and it appraised at $205.
Wow.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, it just puts things in perspective. So it was always a juggling act. And if you realize all of life is a juggling act, you're never going, people say you want work-life balance. That's not a reality. Mm-hmm. But I think if you have your priorities straight, then you let things fall.
Yeah.
When they need, if they're not your top priorities.
Yep.
My clients were a top priority of my family, and a lot of things fell through the cracks, and I had to let it go. So that was the first couple years. I just made it. I also had another child in the process, I think. Let's see, 2011. 2 years in, yeah. I had my last child. He's 13 now. And I was negotiating deals in the hospital. That's what you do.
That's a
I
funny
also was a mom of multiple kids,
Right.
and that was just norm.
And
So
how many kids do you have again?
I have 6.
6.
So I had
Wow.
6, 12 and under.
Wow.
That's probably, and that, of course, the way it works is that year probably was better than the year before, and you just do it. So the chaos of real estate was not a surprise to me or not unusual because that was my life.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say it's chaos, but always keeping what my priorities, and like I said, little kids force you. You have to feed them every day.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
Husbands,
Multiple
you don't
times
have
a
to
day.
feed every day,
No.
and they won't die.
That's right.
Kids, 3-day meals a day.
Yeah.
So that really did. Oddly enough, that is, I think, what kept me sane was my busy family life, and it did keep me balanced. It also allowed me to say no to a lot of things in real estate at the beginning because I physically couldn't do it. And that really focused me on my clients, the job, getting focused. Of course, would I have loved to be more a part of things or more education? Yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. So, yeah, that was my first few years
Wow.
in real estate.
Now you started a team. So fast forward
Yeah.
a little bit. How many years had you been in before? the
10
team
years.
formed? 10 years.
11 years. 2020, I think. So I think in 2019, I decided that I was doing really well, but I knew I wasn't giving the best of myself.
Yeah.
And so I knew I was capable of more, but I didn't also want to work more. Because once again, the priorities.
Right.
And so I hired a full-time admin, and I doubled my business and worked less.
Wow. Yeah.
So that was my first thing. That was kind of my shift of my whole business, was hiring that full-time admin. And then I decided, I can't do double work on my own. So I need help. And that's when I formed a team.
Yeah. Now, can you explain for those who are outside of inside baseball talk on real estate, what is a team, right? Because I know from the outside looking in, it was always very confusing because you would see, Keller Williams Metropolitan, the this team, and then this person, and then it was like, wait, so
Yeah.
who ranks where and how does it all work?
Well, and it is kind of confusing because every one of us owns our own business. Even those on my team own their own business. And it's a form of leverage for both ends. So the one who starts the team needs leverage because they have too many deals. They can't do it on their own. So they start with an admin would be the first member of your team. It should be. And then a lot of times a leader of a team brings in a buyer's agent, someone else that they can leverage a few things to. And they provide admin help, transaction help, marketing. It really depends on the team structure. And in turn, that team member is providing a split of all their deals to the team lead. So, ideally, both are growing. That team member's business is going up because of the leverage that a team provides. And leverage, like I said, is admin help, coaching of an experienced agent, working together, marketing, and using the experience and the structure of an experienced agent with that. So everyone is different. I failed forward big time. I've had wonderful people on my team, and teams aren't always the best fit for people. And then about a year and a half ago, my daughter chose to jump into real estate. And actually, I said, why don't you get your license? She was about to have her first child. And I saw the gift of real estate for me. It really does give you flexibility that a 9-to-5 job does not give you with children. And she said, okay. And then, so she jumped in a little under 2 years ago and really helped me out with my deals. She was a showing assistant. So she was having also the ability to learn from me as she went through it and had, even though we have education and training here, which she was taking advantage, she had me right there, and she was able to make money right away from being my showing assistant on a lot of properties. And then when I was given this opportunity to possibly work in-house in Keller Williams, my husband, who's been talking about real estate for a long time, jumped ship of his full-time career as a vice president of marketing and sales and got his license and jumped into our team. So it has taken a lot of elements. We have 3 agents now, 2 admins, and teams are messy. Mm-hmm. Because people are messy, mm-hmm. and real estate's messy, and every team is built in a bit of a different way. So it is. So there's not a clear cut. I think the biggest thing is the leader of the team has to provide enough value that it's worthwhile for their team to grow and to be a part of that team.
Yeah.
And so Keller Williams does provide a really good, unique opportunity for that without getting into the nitty-gritty to benefit both the leader of the team, we call them rainmakers, but that's getting into it, and also the team members to make it worthwhile. Right. So it is a unique, I think a little bit more unique in Keller Williams, but it's been a great gift because my clients are being taken care of. And now that I didn't even plan this, now that I've pretty much stepped out of my business completely, and all my clients, my 15 years worth of clients, are now being taken care of by my team.
Which feels pretty good, I'm sure, right?
It's kind of, I'm a little surprised that it really worked. But I already had systems in place.
Right.
They're being taken care of. People care about how you take care of them. Mm-hmm. It's not all about us.
Right. Great. Well, thank you for telling us a bit more about yourself. Hopefully that was insightful to everybody who's listening, because I think everybody's coming from a different walk of life. Absolutely.
Well, and that's why I'm excited to talk to you.
Yes,
because
sure.
your perspective is completely different than mine, and that's the beauty of this, that you're on a whole different trajectory than me, and excited to hash that out.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Behind the Sign, Real Stories from Real Estate.
We hope you enjoyed today's conversation and gained a little insight into the world behind those for sale signs.
Today's episode was brought to you by Keller Williams Realty Metropolitan, proudly serving New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, and Massachusetts. A special thank you to our agents, leadership, and partners at KW Metro for their continued support.
And thanks to you, our amazing listeners and viewers. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.
Leave us a review or comment. We love hearing your feedback, and it helps more people discover the show.
And if you have a real estate story you'd like to share or a question you want answered on a future episode, reach out to us at metro.kw.com or find us on Instagram, handle at KWMetroNH.
Until next time, we'll see you
behind the sign.